When I was in my early 30s, I made an appointment to see a reproductive endocrinologist. I just gone through a breakup with a longtime ex and really just wanted to understand my own body, my fertility, and my options moving forward. You know, I had a PhD in human biology and translational medicine, and I went in thinking, I know a lot of this stuff. That visit at the doctor's was really illuminating for me. I was really shocked to learn how little I understood reproductive health, and this really motivated me to educate myself. I think as I learned more, starting with that visit in the doctor's office and then my own research that I did, I just got really angry. There is an historic inequity in biomedical research and clinical development when it comes to the sexes. It wasn't until 1993 that women were mandated to be included in clinical trials in the US. And it wasn't until 2016 that the NIH, which is the largest biomedical funding institute in the world, mandated that female animals be included in studies that their dollars fund. As a result of this, our whole medical model is based on a male body type and male physiology. This leads to poor outcomes for women. Learning more about female physiology and the vast inequities that have existed in this body of research really spurred me to want to understand how we can do more for women. And part of that is really thinking about reimagining what menopause can be for women.
So menopause was kind of a rude awakening. One of the biggest things for me was, the emotional feelings just brought out a sense of loss of self. I just didn't feel like myself anymore. I felt like someone else had taken over my body. And that was strange and discomforting to me. My skin got really dry, still don't sleep very well. Being intimate is very painful. So yeah, I guess I'm still having symptoms. Wish they weren't there. And my friends, some of them still even get hot flashes. A lot of them can't take hormones, so they're stuck with it.
One of the things that I was surprised to discover was really how closely linked our ovarian health is to our overall health and well-being. The ovaries age at an accelerated rate relative to the rest of the organs. The ovarian reserve is the number of eggs that a woman is born with, and that's starting from a peak of 6 to 7 million when in utero. And this number significantly declines as our lives proceed. This ultimately results in the stopping of our menstrual cycles and the beginning of our menopausal transition. My hypothesis is that if we can coax the ovaries into functioning normally for a longer period of time, then we will also be able to capture more years of health span for women. I heard about David's work while I was working as a scientist in residence at Cambrian Biopharma, which is a longevity-focused biotech company. I went on to look at his paper and really understand what was happening, and I was just so excited that there was something out there that really fit with the hypothesis that I had been developing.
So AMH, or anti-Mullerian hormone, is a hormone produced by the ovary. Its eggs are found on the cortex of the ovary within structures that we call follicles. AMH is the only hormone known to reduce the number of follicles that grow and also to regulate the depletion of the ovarian reserve. So my task as a postdoc was to figure out how to make a synthetic version of this hormone. It took several years by modifying the protein structure. We figured out how to make a synthetic version of AMH. This allowed us to finally make large amounts of it. So we treated a few mice, and I'll always remember the way it looked. The ovaries had shrunk. This hormone is much more powerful than we had estimated, and it could block all follicles from growing. And in theory, it would allow us to extend the lifespan of the ovarian reserve. So that night I tossed and turned and I could hardly sleep, just thinking of all the possible applications to human medicine. And I knew right there and then that I would probably be studying AMH for the rest of my life.
I immediately set up a call.
Daisy called me out of the blue, wanted to talk about my research. We discussed the role of AMH in regulating the ovarian reserve.
I was looking for his science. He was looking for someone to help him translate that science. It was like we were looking for each other. We're aiming to go to clinic with a recombinant form of AMH to impact women who are struggling to conceive with IVF. They would take this therapeutic, it would synchronize their follicles, ultimately increasing the quantity of the cohort of eggs available for retrieval, and hopefully increase the likelihood that they would be able to get pregnant and then have a baby. But one of the things that I think is interesting,
We've shown that in mice, by pre-treating with AMH before ovarian stimulation, we can get 3 times as many eggs. So we see the indication of AMH in IVF as a stepping stone to study its effect in longevity. If we can use AMH to fine-tune the rate of activation of follicles, maybe we can extend the reproductive lifespan and delay menopause.
which one? This one? If proven safe and effective, this would be so exciting because it opens up the door for the possibility that we could develop a chronic and preventative treatment that women could take before they enter the menopausal transition to really change their experience of menopause. Even if this analog form of AMH doesn't work as hypothesized, we are producing some extremely valuable data. And there's so much work we need to do to really achieve the ultimate goal, which is to elevate women's health. It's an open question whether or not I'll reap the benefits of this work by the time that I enter menopause. It's really something to think about my mom's experience of menopause and know that not a lot's changed from when she went through menopause 15 years ago. And when I might go through menopause 15 years from now, I want that to be different for my daughter, and I think it will be. So I'm really excited about that. It motivates me to do this work every day, but also for the millions of women all over the world who I think deserve better than what we have.